Yeah, yeah. I got it right here for you.
You got it for the
Okay.
This is better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some water. Yes.
Stretch my legs a little bit. Oh.
Notice the question, guys. It's above.
I know, I got it, though. I got it.
Oh, yeah. It's a souvenir. Or is it a gift wrapping paper?
Make sure that.
Actually really good wrapping paper.
I've done that.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Like inside out? Or just plain back?
Yeah, well, then it's just, it's kind of the 3D pattern. Because when it's on different dimensions, what is that?
Yeah. Down the street, because they can't.
Thank you for asking.
So a block would, your block would be on Howell stuff. And by right.
I don't want to cut that. I don't want to cut that off. That was kind of.
So we're doing walking, they're not
Yeah.
driving.
If we just cut it off, like we did 13, that would be all right.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
or even right at the intersection and, but not this way. I don't want to get, there's too many businesses out there.
Well, the
Right
lots
around
will be
the corner.
open.
Then around the corner, but you're still blocking that street. I don't agree with that.
Okay, so I'll get that.
Yeah. Yes. Well, they can come in and out, I understand that, but
Well, I mean, because they're doing that.
question on the barricading, maybe Plymouth Pub intersection for a Christmas shift. I know we can do that. Doesn't seem to be an issue for 13 nights on the 13 nights has pretty good parking and they're I don't see any reason
And we're
to.
gonna be able to,
But
is gonna be open to come.
both ends could do this.
I think that their concern is that it's so dark this time of year versus the summertime. But I'll just get back with them after.
Yeah. Yes. I'll call this council work session to order. Today is Wednesday, December 1st. Time is 7 p.m. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. I'm going to read our council mantra because I've got to ask somebody to do it. So, number one, I am on the city council as an advocate of quality and effective services. I'll do what I can to promote sensitive and professional services to city residents and visitors. I will do what I can to promote a safe environment for businesses and families. Two, it is my responsibility to contribute to a stabilized environment for the city. I am an opponent of uproar, dissension, and conflict. I believe in cooperation. Number three, I believe in routine. The greatest gift I can give city residents is to provide services that are predictable. Number four, every comment I make, every vote I cast will be motivated by a question: what is good for city residents and visitors? Number five, what I want for my family is what I want for all patrons of the city. Number six, I will champion the city. I will compliment and reinforce often. I will suggest and recommend when necessary. Number seven, I will support the majority position of the council. I may not agree, but once a vote is taken, I will with the others. Number 8, I will never come to a council meeting having made a promise to an individual or a group. Number 9, at all times, I will remember I am a city official whose purpose is to serve and represent others and to act on their behalf. Number 10, courtesy is a rule. I will not break that rule. Number 11, a council meeting is a business meeting. It is not entertainment, it is not social hour, it is not a question and answer session, it is a business meeting. Number 12, I am busy, other council members are busy, city staff and administrator are busy, everyone is busy. At this time, I will do what I have to do. I will do it as fast as possible. I will respect the time of other people. Okay, so we'll open it up for visitor comments. If you'd like to come up and make a comment, please state your name for the record and keep it to 5 minutes.
Stephanie Patterson, and I'd like to preface this by saying these are the kinds of things that I really don't like to read, that I really don't like to bring to the table. I'm a pretty positive person, and I really feel the city has a winning combination. I want to thank all of you for your service. There were parts of Halloween that were very, very difficult, and all of you, I felt were extremely supportive. And I want to lay that out there. During the break in today's work session, I witnessed a verbal exchange between Matt Brown and Tina Curry. Ms. Curry and I were having a discussion with Councilor Berkeley where she was attempting to explain the difference in purchasing authority as an independent contractor rather than as a staff member for the city. Mr. Brown interrupted our conversation with loud laughter and insinuated himself into it, stating he didn't have the financial information he needed for Spirit of Halloween Town, and inferred in front of Mr. Walsh, Kathy Payne, Mr. Berkeley, and myself that Ms. Curry hadn't turned over all the money she received for ticket sales. His reason for inferring this was that Ms. Curry had declined to supply Mr. Brown with passcode information to not only TicketLeap, but all social media accounts as well. As these pertain to E2C accounts, it is more likely than not that Mr. Brown would not have had the authority to request them, primarily because he isn't Ms. Curry's direct supervisor as the tourism event coordinator. Also, please be aware that none of this internal E2C information has been requested in previous years. The thread of Ms. Curry's explanation to Councilor Berkeley was lost amid snide and potentially damaging innuendo. And as we know, inference and innuendo are used to obfuscate and confuse issues without making actual allegations that can be refuted. That is why they are so dangerous. It's also the tactics of a bully. These are the kinds of innuendos that I was brought on 5 years ago to refute, and they're still happening. It's discouraging to me. And I know you all know me well enough to know that if I didn't think this was serious, I would not be sitting here tonight. I take no pleasure in it. While I've been doing this, I've answered suspicions that why is Tina not using her married name? That, gee, there must be something wrong with a woman who doesn't take her husband's name. Allegations of misappropriations of funds. I've been accused of that. Let's see, Tina owns absolutely everything, and she's going to leave one day with everything in the back of her pickup truck, and St. Helens will be in poverty. It's one thing when people do this out of ignorance, out of the community, but it's another thing when it comes in our own house. And that's how I feel about this place. This is a house of the citizens, and you guys exemplify that. And I would ask that you please sit down with Mr. Brown and coach him on what is appropriate and what is not, what is professional and what is not. Thank you for your time.
Other visitor comments? Can you say your name for the record? And you can remove your mask if you like.
Okay. Brady Priam. This city council is literally the highest paid city council in the entire state of Oregon. I personally would like a refund. What are we getting for paying you the most of any city? Are we getting a good government? No. Are we getting a functional city council? No. What we are getting is a stupid mantra that's violated at every meeting that's supposed to make us feel better. It doesn't. It just makes me angry that you read it and then violate what you just read like it was a list of things to do. Here we are again, yet again, talking about the only thing that seems to be happening in the entire city, which is tourism. I personally am sick of hearing about it. Tourism is the only department that doesn't cost the city a dime and brings in millions of dollars of economic benefit to the city. And you keep acting like you control this department. You seem to think that E2C is an employee. They are not. They are contractors. It may sound like a big word, and most of you don't seem like you understand what that means. But to remind you, according to the IRS, you are not an independent contractor if you perform services that can be controlled by an employer. What will be done and how it will be done. This applies even if you are given freedom of action. What matters is that the employer has the legal right to control the details of how the services are performed. That is from the IRS. You have violated this and violated it and continue to violate it. I personally think that if you want to have a contractor, you should have a contractor. If you want to have an employee, have an employee. But when you have a contractor, you do not have the right to ask those questions. If you go out and you contract to buy a truck from Emmert Motors, do you think that you get to ask them what they pay for that truck? Do you think you get to ask them how much they pay their employees or ask for passwords to their websites? You don't. It's a contract to perform a service. That is the extent of the agreement. And it seems that you don't quite understand what your agreement is. If you want to have an employee, go back to having one. You used to have an employee that was a city contracted employee for tourism. How did it work out for you? You had a whole group of people, a tourism committee. How did that work out? It was dysfunctional. It didn't work, which is why you changed to the method that you have with the contractor. And since then, it has taken off and it's done well. I don't understand the need to continue to talk about it and the need to continue to want to go back to things that we've tried and done and have failed. It makes absolutely no sense to me that we have spent so much time on the only department in this county and city that continues to work well, and yet we continue to talk about it. I think it'd be great if you want to make Tina an employee, pay her. You would owe her hundreds of thousands of dollars. There is no one that would work for what she gets paid with the hours that she works and the dedication that she works, period. You just wouldn't get it. You'd need like 5 staff people, trust me. I've seen her work, I've seen the hours that she spends. In fact, I think that she needs to get more money. You need to increase her contract. She needs to get a share of the profits. Although according to Mr. Brown, apparently she's already dipping into that. I just heard that from Stephanie, which sort of shocks me. She should be getting the portion of it. She should be getting a portion of those proceeds. And I think it's unfair that she doesn't, but to sort of imply that she's not or hiding something is really not acceptable to me. I think that it's really sad that it comes from Mr. Brown. Of all people, he sort of knows what it's like to be bullied and harassed by a council person. And I guess that your solution was, oh, if you can't beat him, join him. I find it really offensive that you've done that, but very disappointing. I'd also like to know why we continue to have a pirate ship here every week. I don't know why we can't do something about the pirate ship. It's really starting to annoy me. Instead of worrying about getting your Taj Mahal police station, maybe you should worry about enforcing the laws that we already have on our books and walk down there and give the guy a ticket. He's there every day. I can give you a little bit of a pass for your Sand Island issues, but the guy is right there on the dock. You can walk down on the dock, you can give the guy a ticket. Because he certainly is violating your ordinances that you have passed. I'd finally like to, I guess I'm out of time. I was gonna give you one quick kudo. The new decorations look really nice. I don't know where they came from. But it looks like we have new Christmas decorations on the poles. No, they're the same ones. Oh.
Yeah,
Did you refurbish
I'm
them?
used to the old school ones.
It looked like they got refurbished.
They still have some old school ones.
I saw there's some of the old ones, but it looked like there were new ones, but I thought they looked nice, so
Yeah.
I'll say something positive.
Thank you, Brady. And as much as you keep continue to come out to the mantra, I'm just gonna say this is nothing changes if nothing changes, and I will continue to read this and try to hold myself to this standard and try to meet what is on this page right here. I serve all residents, not just. Any other visitor comments? Hey, Shauna? I'm still gonna need you to shake.
I figured it out, pretty smart.
And you can't take your mask off.
I appreciate it, but I totally know what I can and can't do, so thank you. And my name is Shauna Strop Harrison for the record, and I'm curious why we're not on Zoom right now.
We are.
Oh, we are? Oh, okay, because I just didn't see, where did Jessica go?
We're on my screen.
I'm here. I
Oh.
can hear you. I can see you. The
Okay,
back of your head, but I can see you.
that's good. That's good. I just wanted to make
Hi.
sure, I spent a lot of time down here before you became a counselor. And so I wanted to be able to use my 4 minutes quittably so I could talk in regards to my concerns about our community that I live in. Obviously, there's been a huge influx of prowling going on in my neighborhood specifically, along with other outlining areas. Actually, no, I would just say the whole town, really, let's be honest, right? Downtown got hit, uptown got hit, the whole town. So, first and foremost, so I don't forget, I would really love an update on what's going on in regards to filling the lagoon. So I haven't heard anything about that recently, so I would love to hear an update on that. But moving to the lecture at hand, I am super concerned about the crime going on in my community. And I would like to know, as a resident, what I could be doing to be helpful to helping my community in regards to safeguarding our neighborhoods. It's a major concern all across the board. The police officer is not here today. You're gonna take that, aren't you?
He actually addressed us very first before public comment
I would imagine, yeah.
this morning. And he did notify us of what is going on, how they're doing it. Also, the cars that were unlocked, you'll have to watch because he gave a great presentation.
Okay, I'm more than happy to do that.
But I'm sure it'll go out. It's gonna get out, and we've done some outreach through our community, our communications gal, Crystal Farnsworth, or King now, to.
Okay.
notify people.
So, that being said, I would imagine, kids would counsel you guys in regards to it. I mean, you're city council. So, my concern is that down here, you guys seem to be real distracted. Seems like there's a lot of other stuff going on, unfortunately, it's, heartbreaking to really see. Most people in the community can see it feels a little like it's kind of eroding and it's sad. There's lots of positive things going on. I mean, I think Halloween Town was great, groovy, love the decorations, everything looks good, whatever. But the livability of our community is suffering right now in many different levels. And I think that we would all be, obviously we have a pandemic, we have COVID, we have a lot of different things, but how we behave with each other is how we get through these times. And to see the breakdowns between people and the lashing out and the attacking is really disheartening at best. I think it's awesome. I know you guys, regardless of what anybody says, you get paid. Everybody spends a lot of time trying to do the best that you can, working through the restraints of government, which is never an easy task at any stretch of the imagination. But I would hope and pray and just on everything that this community has, and for people that are lifelong residents and people that live here currently and that care about it, that you acknowledge it for what it is and you take an approach to it. People are real quick to come down here and do the attaboys for, maybe, Halloween Town or whatever, but it's like, where are we in regards to safeguarding our community? Where are we in regards to what we're going to do to try to help make a bigger presence where we don't seem like vulnerable sitting ducks? Everybody knows that we are, we're basically a bedroom community to Metro. That's, no joke. We know that some of these things are coming in from Portland. But I think, besides just building big buildings and passing big bonds, there's things that we can be doing collectively as a community to invoke a more positive space that doesn't accept that kind of behavior. And it doesn't make us look very strong when you guys are all down here like bantering back and forth about Halloween Town and some position. I mean, to me, I think that position is a good position. I think that they try really hard to do towards things. They've got positive in the grand scheme of things, even though that may not be something that shares my big wholehearted spirit, but I see a lot of people, it brings a lot of joy to, and in the grand scheme of things, looking at the budget and how much money gets spent through this city and through this, that's small fries. That's just like whatever. It's a positive. It brings positive things. I mean, there's going to be loss. It's entertainment. It's COVID. My God. I mean, and I'm going to go past because Rick interrupted me for 30 seconds. I know because it's important, I think, to have these conversations. I don't know where these conversations have went. I mean, even when I would come down here on a regular basis, there was at least some kind of ounce of dignity, it felt like, in regards to like, okay, we're trying to work for the collective. Yes, we have to make money. Yes, some of our industries may not be what everybody else likes or they convey or are concerned about the, environmental implications of it. But there was at least some semblance of caring for the community. And watching the last couple of meetings, it's been awful. It's been soul sucking, to be quite honest. And so I, as somebody who's watching how things get pillaged around my neighborhood, and I don't know if you guys need me to help you set out a trap car or sit out on the porch with my rifle. I mean, let me know what I need to be doing to try to help protect my community. And I'm dead serious about it. 110%. I live here. I know you don't live here. I know you live here. I know you live here. I know you do live here. Oh, good. You live here. You live here. Jessica, she lives here. Look her nice and tell her she lives here. We live here. Don't let this happen. Don't let this place turn into Gresham. As I've told you a million times over, it's been one of my biggest concerns as we continue to grow, and we're going to grow. Congrats on Popeyes. Thank you.
Okay, let's go ahead and get the person on Zoom.
Hi, good afternoon or evening. This is Art Leskowicz. Sorry, I don't have a camera. Just one basic comment regarding contracting. I've observed and heard a lot about what's going on. Great things happening on both sides. But I think, and I am not familiar with the contract in question that Tina is working under. But I understand it's up for consideration or renewal, like most contracts should be. I have worked as a contractor, a contractor's quality control officer on government contracts, private contracts, and my own personal business contracts in another life. Very difficult to do, especially government contracts. And I'm not about, I think I spent weeks in different courses and books on a shelf. And I'm not even about to comment or make suggestions other than you need a really strong contract, a strong contract person, and difficult to do with this type of contract, which is a service contract. I understand that there's purchases made on behalf of the city. There's all kinds of moving parts, which are very difficult to manage and put in a contract. And but it's done and by accountability. You're oftentimes correct, you can't tell a contractor how to do something, but you can be very specific in the requirements and accountability. And how they do it, I suggest, is part of the way it's done properly, considering safety, financial responsibility, all those are the kind of things. And when you ask for submittals in the contract, that's one of the ways that accountability is brought to the table. And there has to be great communication amongst all parties involved. So I would just suggest maybe, I don't know who wrote these contracts, what kind of specialty training that is being used on the contracts and writing new contracts. But oftentimes I've seen the contract officer on a project was the highest paid person, got paid more money than the project manager. because that's the guy that managed the money, brought money into the contract, and protected both the contractor and the contractee. So anyway, you guys got tough rows to hoe. Appreciate all your efforts. We'll consider to keep praying for you guys and wishing the best, and try to be positive and suggestions and moving forward. So good luck with it. But again, strong contract means a strong agreement and strong accountability. Thank you.
Okay, any other visitor comments? Seen anybody here? So we'll go on with deliberations. Our first deliberation will be on the annexation of 35480 East Division Road, Hughes. So Jenny said that ordinance. You want to pull up the property map? I don't think that we have to.
Deliberate right now.
Yeah.
I see no compelling reason why we should not go forward with this annexation.
Right, I sat through the planning commission meetings when our staff, which is among one of the departments in our city that does work well. Well, thank you. Yeah, they did great work and a great presentation here, and very thankful for the work that Jacob and Jenny and Christina do that show that we have city departments that do work well for the good of the people. Thank you.
You want to comment? I think it should be done, already been done.
Good. So we're gonna go ahead and go on to the next one. Give you direction to put it on our agenda. We're gonna approve it. Right? It goes on for a reason.
Motion.
Somebody make a motion?
I make a motion that we annex 35480 East Division Road.
Second.
Okay, Council President Morton.
Aye.
Council Topaz.
Aye.
Council Berkeley.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well.
She's
She can't on the first two.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's right.
First one, Jessica, do you sit on the second one?
No, I only heard the third.
Okay. All right, so deliberations on annexation 58471 Columbia River Highway Patel.
I'm fine with an annexation on that one as well.
I am also.
Okay, so make that a motion.
I move we annex 58471 River Highway.
Second.
Yeah, motion's been made and seconded to approve annexation 58471 to Columbia River Highway. Council President Morton.
Aye.
Council Topaz.
Aye.
Council Berkeley.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. All right, deliberations on the annexation of 58284 Oak Portland Road, Orange County.
Negative thoughts on that annexation as well.
Good move. A lot of history with that one.
Yeah.
That house shows it.
I move that we annex 58284 Old Portland Road.
Second.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded to approve 58284 Old Portland Road. President Morton,
Aye.
Councilor Topaz,
Aye.
Councilor Chilton,
Aye.
or Berkeley,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. All right, so ordinance, final reading, ordinance number 3272, an ordinance to annex and designate the zone of certain property at 58241 South Division Road.
I move that we adopt ordinance 3272, an ordinance to annex and designate the zone of a certain property at 58241 South Division Road.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve ordinance 3272. Council President Morton,
Aye.
Councilor Topaz,
Aye.
Councilor Chilton,
Aye.
Councilor Berkeley.
Aye.
Ordinance number 3273 is ordinance to annex and designate the zone of certain property at 35285 Malone Road.
We adopt ordinance number 3273 in order to annex and designate the zone of certain property at 35, 285 Millard Road.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve ordinance 3273. Council President Morton.
Aye.
Council Topaz.
Aye.
Councilor Chilton.
Aye.
Council Berkeley.
Aye.
And I'm as well. Okay, ordinance first reading, ordinance number 3271, an ordinance amending the St. Helens Municipal Code, chapter 6.04 regarding beekeeping. And on to the next ordinance first reading, ordinance number 3275, an ordinance amending the St. Helens Municipal Code, Title 13, relating to definition of equivalent dwelling units for water and wastewater utility services. And first reading of ordinance number 3276, an ordinance amending the St. Helens Municipal Code Title 2 relating to administration and personnel. Okay, resolution number 1941. Resolution appointing a municipal court judge.
I move that we adopt resolution 1941, a resolution to appoint presiding municipal court judge.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution 1941.
Aye.
Councilor Topaz.
Aye.
Councilor Chilton.
Aye.
Councilor Berkeley.
Aye.
Okay, approve and authorize for signature. Ken with warranty transfers for agreement services. Amendment number 1 to 7th Street Interloss LLC agreement. And 12 with McKinsey Engineering for infrastructure design work for the St. Helens Industrial Business Park. Contract payments.
I move we authorize for signature items 10, 11, 12, and 13 on the agenda as read.
Second.
It's been made and seconded to consent agenda or approve and authorize for signature 10 to 13. Council President Morton.
Aye.
Councilor Topaz.
Aye.
Councilor Chilton.
Aye.
And Councilor Berkeley.
Aye.
And own aye as well. All right, consent agenda for acceptance, 14 cost estimates from Turney Excavation Inc. for Commercial Street closure.
I move we accept consent agenda item number 14 as read.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve consent agenda 14. Council President Morton. Discussion?
Yeah, so just, I mean, I see that and it looks reasonable and I guess, so we got everything like.
So I
got.
can speak to it, yeah,
all
so ODOT, yeah, if you remember, we talked about the street closure with Jacob kind of running it. We had the property owners abutting it, saying that people were using it as a cut through, it was dangerous.
Very fast.
So ODOT Access Management approved reimbursement of the $9,000 it will cost to fabricate and install this gate. That's what the fire district preferred, so they'll have fire access through there. Our public works will also have access because there's a sewer line there. I'm going out tomorrow with Sharon to make sure we install it in the right spot and that the gate is the right width exactly. But yeah, I'm just putting this contract before you to let you know we're moving forward and it won't cost us a dime. So.
Excellent.
Can we get a discount?
It'll cost us a dime, but we get it back.
It'll cost ODOT a dime, so that's your taxes.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, so I have a motion been made and seconded to agenda 14.
Aye.
Aye. Councilor Chilton.
Aye.
Councilor Berkeley.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Consent agenda for approval. 15 council work session, special session, and regular session meetings dated November 17th, 2021, and 16 account payable bill list.
I move we approve council or item number 15 and 16, council work session, special session, regular session minutes dated November 17th, 2021, and accounts payable and bill list.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to approve consent agenda 15 and 16. Council President.
Aye.
Councilor Topaz.
Aye.
Councilor Chilton.
Aye.
Council Berkeley.
Aye.
As well. Okay, we had, I know, a couple work session items that we wanted to bring over.
First one is the leak adjustment.
Leak adjustment, yes. So, we. Anybody want to talk about it?
I, the gentleman's name, and then we could, I move that we adjust the water bill for Mr. Dennis Waterbury as he requested and in the amount of 18 cents as determined by our finance department.
I'd like to talk about it, but
Yeah, if we have a second.
do we have to second that? Okay, I'll second it.
Okay.
And now.
Now discussion.
Thank you. I read over that and I was delighted to hear that the water department has a standard for the exact process that was asked. And they follow that process. So the council needs to know that, and we heard that today. So I endorse that very much so. Thank you.
All right, so I have a motion that's been made and seconded to authorize a refund to Dennis in the amount of $154.18. Council President Moore.
Aye.
Councilor Pepez. Councilor Chilton.
Aye.
Councilor Berkeley.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well.
Second item is the Jordan Center bench.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay, so the Jordan Center bench, would like to make a motion on it? Bench.
Placement, what was it, the acceptance and placement of a wooden bench
That's right.
on our sidewalk?
Yes. Yep.
I so move.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to placement and approved of a wood bench.
Should we say a movable wood bench or?
That's pretty much what it is.
That's right.
So, all right, Council President Morgan,
Aye.
Councilor Topaz,
Aye.
Councilor Chilton,
Aye.
Councilor Berkeley,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. And then
Third item is a motion to approve an agreement regarding Sue Nelson and authorize the signature of the mayor.
guys, would you like to make that motion?
Yeah, I move to approve the agreement with Sue Nelson and authorize the mayor to execute agreement on behalf of the city.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded to approve an agreement with Sue Nelson. Council President Morton.
Aye.
Councilor Topaz. Aye. Councilor Chilton.
Abstain.
Okay. Oh, yes. Thank you for doing that. Councilor Berkeley.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Okay, so that was it. Was there one more? Do we need any?
Potentially this was regarding the administrative action of the contract with tourism.
Oh, yes. We talked about the building. I think was part of.
I think there are a few different things. There's the lease of the Masonic
Yes.
building. There's also the contract currently with E2C has language in it that kind of goes both ways. It automatically renews without any action from the council. So if we don't do anything, technically the contract renews for a full another year. Now there is a 90-day exit clause at any time if you choose. So if you decide not to take action tonight and January 3rd comes, the current agreement has a 90-day exit clause that you wish to execute that. There's a 90-day clause to leave the contract. But if what we're asking today is if you want to take any council action, a definitive action with a motion to not renew the contract and go through the process of the tourism committee bringing you back a new contract with new language.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was not discussed earlier.
Okay, so what I'd like to do, so that I don't have a firm grip on that discussion, and that both sides, I don't see what's going, can we put that, on next, on our agenda for our next council meeting and talk about it?
Yeah, because I think that's what I understood is that Don presented it, staff was asking for.
I mean, there's a notice that it
So we still
doesn't
need to do that.
expire at the end of the year.
But, and I just want to make sure I'm clear. I thought as I had read it, if I'm correct, that the last one was 2019 that
Yes.
was signed, and then it extended. I thought I had read in that contract, and I had it, that either at the end of the section, the personal services agreement, I do not believe it was one of the attachments, that it said it would renew automatically with the written agreement of the parties. So I would just like, so I don't think we should take any action tonight, but I would like clarification on that.
It does seem to conflict. There's
Contrary
term,
language in the contract.
Contrary in the, okay, so yeah, so anyway, yeah, but I'm not, they're in no position to be able to.
the term, and then there's a cancellation 90-day.
I think the Masonic was part of the ones that we kicked on up, it's kind of, the weeks coming up, at the first. And
Meet.
I think, we know that we got the money there to pay a full year lease. Not pulling anything out of the next budget.
Well, I was gonna say that, well, I
I
said
think we need clarification. One way or the other.
Well, it's basically the rent did go up a little bit, but we have a store over there. We have access to that building for other things. Matter of fact, when COVID started, we thought we might use it more than originally was the council discussion. We thought we might use it more than what it is being used as of late.
Right, we're not even using the second floor, right? That
No.
has been remodeled.
I mean, kind of, but yes, there's potential to use it still. I mean, it's being used, it's got a big ballroom and
No, it's a full museum and yeah, it's pretty neat.
And how long have we
Yeah, I've
leased
been up
it?
there, it's pretty neat.
I guess the museum's set up there. I haven't been up there that long, I guess.
Is that electric chair that goes up and down, is that working, or is that been removed?
It's working and certified for use and all that.
So I obviously we can't take everything out by the end of the month, no place to put it. And there is the possibility, I think there should be further discussion about exactly how the building is utilized. So I able to pull that off financially to renew it. But yeah, with the understanding that we should talk about its use and is it being used to the best effect?
I think it needs further deliberation. I just do. So I think I concur with that, and I think that put that on the agenda for our next meeting as well. I just feel better about the accountability.
I agree with the good president and Patrick.
Good, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and kick this to the next agenda, and we're gonna put it on as a work session. Because apparently there's enough questions that it needs to be discussed prior to a vote.
And some paperwork to know all the facets of the situation.
Councilor Shelton, do you concur with that by chance?
Yes, I do, and it would be helpful if I'm not sure who has the lease. I'm guessing that John has all of this information that he can present to us and answer our questions. Okay. Because I just have questions about how much money was invested on, refurbishing it, what were initial plans to do, and how long have we already been leasing it for, things like that. So just to give you a preparation for that meeting.
Okay, so I think that's it. What do I have to report? Again, our chief did report earlier on all the time going around, and what appears to be happening is that groups, a couple different groups have been working in the area. They're stealing cars from outside our area, Vancouver and Portland, coming out this way and going through cars that each and every one of the 50, the original 50, were all unlocked. And they had various items in them, laptops, handgun. One house was entered through a garage door opener. One of the cars that was stolen had a fob that was actually, it was unlocked and the fob was there, so they took off in the car. And his message was, please take your valuables inside, lock your cars. And then he said the three, and I forget what the.
Take the keys.
I forget what the three were.
Take the keys.
that he-
Keep, take, hide. So
Huh?
keep doors locked, take the keys and hide the valuables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and he was wanting in prior to the comments, because he wanted to address this personally. Our officers, they do work really hard, and I even stated for public watching too, that it doesn't matter, I'm not gonna be offended if somebody called that, see me driving a neighborhood, because maybe I'm looking for a job or something. I'm not gonna be offended if somebody pulls me over and says, or an officer pulls me over and says, oh, we just had complaints of you driving around. Please call. If you see suspicious stuff out there, you know, a lot of people, that's the main thing, is just, you know, you don't have to stay up at night, but if everybody works together, and if you take the extra time and say, you know, that doesn't look quite right, and maybe just assess, and then if it really doesn't feel right, call 911.
Or the non-emergency number.
Yeah, but even that too, I mean, you can, so,
I'll reach out to them tomorrow about like neighborhood watch, because people in my neighborhood are already asking about it.
you're deeply concerned about
Talked about it immensely, but ultimately you should work with your law enforcement, with neighborhood watch, which is, it's all like, it's all online.
it. You know, and on the other note is that, you know, I mean, it does seem like, as much as has been going on with this tourism stuff, it has zapped this kind of council. The meetings are not going the way they used to. I don't know why, and I don't get it. We have so many good things going on in such a beautiful community that we live in. Good, friendly people. Anywhere you want to go to eat, you're welcome, wanted, needed. And it always starts off with this tourism, and it just sets the pace of these meetings. We are dedicated to sitting down and trying at the end of this month to draw up an actual better contract, like Art said, with Travel Oregon and staff and amongst this council. And that was my idea kind of in our discussion earlier, because there has to be a resolution to this. It cannot continue to go on year in and year out. It does. It's gotten really heightened this year, and I don't get it. I just don't get it. And if you have individuals or group coming to you and you're not, because Judge Grove told me this, how he does his job, there's three sides to a story. His side, her side, and then there's the truth. And you gotta find that truth. And that's what we have to do. We are serving all citizens up here. And I don't want to fight, and I don't want to argue with anybody. If you have a valid point, please educate me. Don't yell and distract, and just educate me. I am educatable. I do not know it all. That being said, you know, it's been a shit show lately. And I'm just gonna put it in St. Helens terms. That's what it is. You know, if it offends somebody, I apologize, but that's what it's been. So that's my report. Council President Morton.
Yeah, I just wanted to, I want to thank Art for a good positive report. That gives us all some inspiration to move forward, be positive, and thank you, Art. Thank you for doing that. Appreciate it. so much. And the other the person I'd really like to thank is Chief Greenway. I gave him a call this morning around 9 o'clock, 8:45, something like that. And I says, I'm overwhelmed with calls from our neighbors asking what to do. I don't want to tell them things that, Counselor Morton said this or that and whatever, and it might not be appropriate. So I asked him if he could be at our council meeting, and sure enough, he comes down here and gives the greatest report that anyone could ever want. Told our citizens what they could do: lock, take your keys, and hide your valuables somehow, empty the valuables out of your car, and be vigilant and be aware. Turn some lights on, that kind of thing, those kinds of things that are common sense. And the big deal is that lock your car, and that's going to help a lot. And so, like the mayor said, there was only one incident where a home got burglarized, and that was from I believe a garage door opener that was in the car. So all these things were caused by keeping the doors of your car unlocked. On another note, a week and a half ago, we had a work party at the Botanical Garden and cleaned it up. There was well over a dozen individuals there that worked several hours and got a lot of work done, cutting ivy and invasive species like holly and those kinds of plants, removal, some trail maintenance. A lot of things happened with our fine volunteers who hold our parks at the highest esteem and do volunteer to clean up. It's always pleasing to be a part of that and very pleasing to see. Nob Hill Nature Park accomplishes the same kind of cleanups as Councilor Berkele can attest to, as he's always there. And I just feel really good about that. Also, as I reported in the past, that the Parks Commission is anticipating the master plan. And I was looking forward to kind of weighing in on that tonight, but hopefully our next council session will pick a consultant to do that. I didn't hear it on the agenda tonight, so I was anticipating it. So anyway, that's it for my report.
I have a few things. As we know, Margaret, our leader of the library, is retiring. And I think it would be appropriate for the council, other than giving her a sheet of paper saying, "Great job, Margaret," give her a gift of some type of old book or something. I think we ought to look into that. I mean, it's nice to pat him on the back, give him an old dirty sheet of paper, but let's be a little more. She did quite a job for us. The other thing, the Boy Scouts, Judy Thompson, last Saturday had to go and cleaning up behind the courthouse. That's some of our neighborhood people doing things for our neighborhood, which is a good go. Now, the police chief mentioned a couple other things with his crime report. He mentioned that this has been happening to other communities too, and so there is an ongoing good group looking into how this is going about, and he wouldn't go into all the details, but action is still going on. And Paul Peterson brought up this morning about the court records that are public property having to do with the mill site and the business of being sued by Cascade. And one of the things that was done September 3rd was a ruling by Judge Callahan. And number 3 said the sale of the property to ASPC and the final plot is rescinded, which means we own that piece of ground again And I think we're gonna have to discuss how to do that, because if it's our ground and we know it's illegal for the city to be in charge of a marijuana grow facility, that's gonna present us some problems that we have to look into. So that's what I would, but the point is that what Mr. Peterson said was all public record that was gotten by asking the court for the public records on different cases, and you print it out on your happy computer. And he has the whole list of all the things that were public information. That's it.
Good. Counselor Chilton?
I just wanted to talk briefly. I've been working with Lieutenant Hogue and some other supportive community members to put on the annual police awards banquet. And that is coming up at the end of this week. So I'm really looking forward to putting that on and just really showing our police, a deserving celebration for everything that they've, dealt with this year. And just there's been a lot of changes and a lot of stress. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that come to fruition. And in that same light, you guys have all kind of echoed this, but I just want to bring it up again. I just want to say thank you to Shauna for coming and bringing your concerns to the council. I happen to live in one of those neighborhoods that it is often targeted. So I feel that those same concerns. And one of the things that we didn't mention, I feel like is important to mention, in addition to locking your car and turning your lights off, things like that, is to look out for your neighbors. Just be aware of your surroundings, look out for your neighbors, and report things, call and talk to police officers and let them know kind of what you're seeing and what's going on. I think that's important, and that's what they're there for. So yeah, that's all I got.
Councilor Berkeley?
Thank you. First, if I could just, Mr. Council tries this was fine. I think in terms of just the right, all that stuff is public record, but I think also there is ongoing litigation. The case hasn't been settled.
Yeah.
And those are, so I think that needs to be clear, is that there's things are still, litigation is still ongoing. And your council is doing that in the appropriate manner. And because of Oregon laws, we are dealing with that. And as much as we would like public to know, we are not able to let public know everything that goes on. So, but I do want to assure the public that we are doing our job to resolve the issue. I want to say we have a great city. We have a lot that works well in the city. Evidence of that and the combination of work, the decorations on, which Tina is coordinating in anticipation of the Christmas ships. So thank you for that good work, and compliment that Mr. Preheim gave concerning that. But I couldn't help but think if as I was sitting here at our 1 o'clock meeting, I'm just putting that up, it's our public works. Our public works department works well. Our building department works well. Our municipal court works well. Our library works well. Our water sewer, I'm kind of reluctant to not mention somebody. Our finance department under Matt's leadership works well. And I do want to say, and also reiterate what Councilor Chilton said about the police. I was making a trip to the liquor store Saturday, and our officers were responding, had been called to an incident across the street. And I had the opportunity for a good 15 minutes or so to observe the professionalism of our officers as they dealt with this situation. Our police department works well. So we've got a lot working well in here, and we want tourism to continue to be a part of that and welcome that dialogue and discussion. Among other things I've done is, if you haven't gotten one, get a Keep It Local card. Got a lot of businesses participating. in this, including a number of our downtown merchants, our Fulton District merchants. Check it out. So shop local. I guess that's okay to promote. I'm not singling out a business, but yes, shop local. So
It's always good to promote shop local.
that's all I have.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna do a quick go back, because I can, is that I had the street meeting, and it went very well, but also, there's also talking about the decorations going up on, there's a decoration contest, you can go onto the Main Street website, if you own a business, and just basically just put your name in, and you're entered to for winning a prize. They're not doing cash prizes, but so that went really well. And again, I just kind of want to follow up on the litigation that we are going through, that the judge just took it upon themselves to make a judgment with neither side. And that's what we had a result of. So that is in the appeals process, and that's all I can say on that. So it's not what he's saying exactly yet. So, because like I said, Judge Grove said, there's 3 sides to a story, and there's the truth. All right, so we have Christmas ships, December 11th, walk through. Down here will be barricaded off, Santa will be here. Will be the candy cane slides, maybe, possibly, we don't know. And that is at, we're doing our lighting, we're not doing no lighting this year, it's lit right now. It's lit, so I know that there'll be some music down here, and that the Christmas ships start at 6:30, I do believe. So,
Yes.
6:30.
Yep. Always kind of.
So we're gonna have snow. I just want to remind you, we're not gonna have snow. But
Yes, we're gonna have snow.
we are gonna have snow.
Yes.
Well, apparently it's a Christmas miracle. We're gonna have snow. So I just want to remind everybody of that, who's watching, and we'll see you next week.
Oh, Mark,
Yeah, the council.